Welcome to the Genesis of the Doctor podcast, where we're taking a journey through the time and space of the history of Doctor Who. I'm Joy,
And I'm Triss.
and for today's episode, we're watching the fourth and fifth serials of season 9 with the Mutants and the Time Monster. My basic thoughts on the Mutants is that, wow, this is what we wanted Colony in Space to be.
Yeah, honestly, that was my takeaway as well. That's really what they wanted Colony in Space to be. It felt like actualizing what they really wanted the story to be, and boy, was it a problem.
I definitely liked that they were happy to criticize an Earth colony on a different planet this time.
Yeah, they were. They absolutely were, and I really like how they really try to give like everyone's involvement like a different level of accountability to it.
Yeah.
Like the professor, even though he clearly started going against, you know, even though he really started kind of going against it, like he didn't want to be doing all these evil things, he still had accountability by the end of it.
Yeah. I like the line with the Doctor of, you were simply obeying orders. That's a common excuse, Professor.
Yeah.
And, he's making a reference to Nazis there.
Yep. No, it's really well done, actually, how scary they make it. Although I will say, it's genuinely very surprising how threatening the Marshal is, and, nobody tries to stop him.
Yeah. And there's, the subtle implication that, he's been doing this for years now, and,
Yeah.
nobody has ever tried to stop him.
Yeah. I appreciate that we had a couple of soldiers learn the truth early and then decide to side with the Doctor because they go, hey, wait a minute, this is messed up. We shouldn't be siding with this.
Yeah.
But I do also think both of those characters could have been handled a lot better because I don't think it's as maybe well-intentioned as they realized to name the only black character in the story, Cotton.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the point. I don't know. That definitely felt a little,
Yeah. And apparently Cotton was originally not meant to be black. I don't know if his name became Cotton after they cast the actor, though. But apparently one of the first actors they were considering was Colin Baker for that role.
Oh, really?
It's funny.
Wow. That is funny.
Colin Baker does play a different character before he plays the Doctor, but I guess not this time.
That's much later on.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I'm glad Cotton survived to the end because, you have the whole, media tropes of, oh, only one black character, well, they're gonna die. Stubbs died. Cotton didn't. And you know what? I think they played it out fairly well in that case.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the other black characters we've had on Doctor Who so far. Because they always tend to die. And in this time, he gets to kind of take over instead.
Yeah, he becomes, the new leader.
Yeah. The name is bad, but otherwise he's a well-done character, I would say.
Yeah, I do think overall he is a well-done character. Stubbs also, although, you do kind of have, at the very start, some, poor characterization that then becomes good character development of, oh, they're just as racist to the natives, but then when the Doctor kind of calls him out on it and makes him question why, they kind of instantly swap sides. It's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah.
It's a little unrealistic how quickly they swap sides on it, how there's no pushback, but I do appreciate that they went from really messed up to, hey, don't do that, and then minute of self-introspection, why am I like this? I'm gonna be better. That's kind of what it is for Cotton and Stubbs, honestly. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, and they're right at the beginning. I loved the exchange the Doctor had with Jo, where she's like, we need to go have lunch, and the message walker arrives. He's like, is that lunch? No. Is it a bomb? No, it's not a bomb either.
That was such a good exchange between them because they had every reason to go over both of those two. That might be one of the best exchanges they've had so far, to be honest. Their banter and coordination, the way the two of them worked together, was really, really on point this story.
Yeah. I do think the message box is just a weird plot point, though, because, why did the Time Lords care about this? exactly. I don't
Yeah,
know what Time Lords have to do with this story.
what bothers me about it involving the Time Lords at the start is it directly goes against what the Time Lords do and why they banished the Doctor in the first place. They're not supposed to
Yeah,
interfere. I thought with Time Lord involvement, we were going to learn there was a time like I thought we were going to learn like the other professor was actually a Time Lord and it was all actually to save him or something.
yeah,
Like I thought we were going to learn this is actually just a selfish gambit by the Time Lords to save one of their own from this. No, no, it's kind of a moot plot point. It just goes away.
yeah. I guess my assumption would be maybe like they don't want the human empire being too strong, and if the human empire stayed there, then they would get too big or something. I guess. But yeah, I guess in like the Second Doctor's trial, they did say that they agree that sometimes you need to interfere. So I guess
Yeah,
they're just using the Doctor to interfere if they feel like they need to.
I guess so.
But then it's also like, they interfere and they send them a message box of like tablets that nobody knows how to decode. Like, okay,
Yeah. And then
I'm not
even
sure.
after finding Professor Sondergaard, the Doctor's the one to figure out what they are anyway.
Yeah,
So the original intent of finding the professor is also gone.
yeah,
So it's a little silly. It is a little messy at times, but I do think it told a really good story. The Marshal is genuinely a rather frightening guy, with how much he gets away with. Um,
yeah,
the way he kills off the administrator, the way the investigator gets wrapped up into everything, like, and how he just can't let things be. Like he can't like convince the investigator then let him go. It's no. I was always gonna strand you here, regardless of the outcome. It's like, oh, all right, he's just messed up then.
yeah. And the Doctor has good moments in this too, where like, Varen asks if he's going to be able to breathe the air, and he says, I didn't say I was an Earthman." And then
Yeah.
similar exchange with Professor Sondgard later. Like, you can't survive in here with the radiation. And he's just like, nah, don't worry about it. I'll be fine.
So yeah, an Earthman maybe.
Yeah.
I really liked the effects too for how they did the radiation. Like for the time, I think it's pretty cool to see. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, all the extra green screening isn't coming across too well on like the actors and everything. Like they're definitely getting a little messed up in it, but there's still just something about the way they're doing the effects that works well. I think.
Yeah. I found it so funny when Kai ascends, though, and he's just covered in rainbows.
He he's the new pride icon. He's a ghost apparently flying around. I guess the way he kills the Marshal is from just unleashing pure radiation. I don't really understand what he does there, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. He just vaporizes him.
Yeah, it's very strange, and I kind of don't like that. I mean, pride icon aside, I don't really like that because I think the idea of the natural evolution into these like large insect-like creatures was actually very fascinating and did a lot of world building for this planet, but only for them to be like a cocoon state basically before they like fully chrysalis out like a butterfly into this other form. They spent little to no time on the other form. They glossed over it very quickly, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a shame because I would have liked to have seen more about what that was, because the Doctor's right, there is like no other beings in the universe like that, and they really seem to ascend to some sort of higher plane.
Yeah. It is a fascinating sort of thing, but yeah, it would be nice if they had dealt with like the what they're at the end a bit more.
Yeah, something about it, even if it's just the scientist fascination of the Doctor wanting to learn more
Yeah.
about it. Something about that would have been nice, because they kind of just gloss over it at the end, and um, Cotton and Sondagard and those who remain will make sure everyone else undergoes the transformation and safely. It's like, oh, okay, that's it. We just know the rest of them are going to transform. That's it. Okay.
Yeah. they definitely had to rush through the ending, I guess.
A little bit, unfortunately. Although I do like how it ended the way it started with in like the broom closet, the doctor needing to mess with the door to get in, to get
Yeah.
out, etc.
And then at the end, he's back to the broom cupboard. At least we made a clean sweep of this place. And then
Yeah.
Joseph
No,
shakes
like
her head at him.
they're so funny. I
Yeah.
really like them together.
And
They clearly had a good time. They clearly had a good time.
as a couple of behind the scenes trivia, the guy that plays Kai is
Yeah.
Garrick Hagan. He comes back in Mondu in a town called Mercy, and he's the guy that's like
Oh.
he wants to make a coffin for the doctor, so he keeps like taking his measurements and everything. He's that guy.
Yeah.
And then he also plays a very minor character of Biggs in Star Wars. Who's just like one of
Okay.
Luke's friends. And Peter Capaldi was writing with the producers at the time and was sent a package of promotional materials from this story, including 2 used scripts, 4 plans, and a set designs. And he stated that Barry Lutz's kindness was a trigger to make him want to work in TV. So
Oh, wow.
this story kind of brought Peter Capaldi into the picture.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Funny how it all ties together, because obviously
Yeah,
he becomes
really.
a doctor.
How is this story like typically received? Like, is this rated higher or
It's
lower?
it's towards the bottom of Third Doctor stories, I know.
Okay.
I think like Third Doctor has like 24 stories, I think, and this is normally like 21 out of them.
Yeah, I was gonna
Not the
say
lowest.
like it wasn't. It definitely wasn't a bad story, and I definitely liked aspects of it. But I can understand it being a bit lower.
Yeah. Like, I liked it, but I don't think it stands out as like a really good story, like some of the others have.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that the Time Monster has been at the bottom of every poll for Third Doctor stories. So that's our other one today. It's always in 24th place in all of the Doctor Who
I
magazine polls.
I see. Interesting. Wow. Okay, well we'll talk about that.
Before we move on, though, like, I did find it weird how, like, they said, like, it's the seasons of the planet, and the seasons are based on how it goes around the sun, but that's not what a season is. Like, seasons are determined,
Yeah.
like, the angle of the planet towards the sun, not how far, like, where it is in its orbit. Like, I guess if it had a really lopsided orbit, it could essentially do that, but it's still just weird.
That is a bit
I don't
weird.
know.
I remember hearing something about behind the scenes from this, so I went to look because the mutants. I do remember like my dad telling me some like things from behind the scenes of like some like Third Doctor stories because he grew up with a lot of like Third and Fourth Doctor, and one of the ones I remember hearing was that John Pertwee did not work well with one of his directors, and this was it. I found it in the TARDIS wiki of the bad blood between John Pertwee and Christopher Barry, which started when they did the Demons. Didn't improve
Yeah.
during this, and because of this, Barry did not work again on the series until Pertwee left. They disliked each
Yeah.
other that much. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because they were having issues in the Demons, and then he came back, and they just got worse.
Had problems again. Yeah.
Yep.
I do want to ask, coming back from behind the scenes stuff, how did we feel about? Because we talked a lot about Kai. How did we feel about Varen?
I felt he was like just a very simplistic character. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't really grow or anything. He always wants to fight someone.
I have written here they gave Varen some of the most motivations out of every character in this entire story, and then they proceeded to do the least with him,
Yeah.
which is very
I did-
strange.
I did find it funny, though, that he got a Katarina death.
He did get a Katarina death, you're right. He did just get sucked out into space and
And that whole
left
scene was just kind of
there.
weirdly done, too, because it's like they run off to into another room, and then he just happens to stand against the wall, and then the guy just happens to accidentally shoot the wall instead of him. And then everybody else
That's
is
a
hanging on
rough
for the
wall.
cliffhanger. It's like, surely you would build better walls where, like, one shot from your gun wouldn't destroy the entire wall, right?
Yeah, would not, put the entire spaceship in distress.
Yeah,
Would not risk the structural integrity of the entire spaceship from one shot. That was a little strange.
yeah,
I don't know. Just, everything with Varen felt like it was handled very weird. Varen felt like a character that was going to get set up to be uh, the one who we see fully transform into like the full like insect-like creature, and then likely be the one to kill the marshal.
yeah,
And that's not at all how it played out. So
yeah.
very weird.
I think Joe had a lot of good moments in this though. Like, I
Yeah,
liked that they split her up with from the doctor, so had a lot to give her. And then like
yeah,
when they were captured, she fakes fainting to help escape with them. Like she does a lot of good stuff here.
yeah. Joe has a lot of great moments, I think, and I think. Especially since this is near the end of the season, she's really had a lot of great defining moments as a character at this point between these seasons, and a lot of great moments with the Doctor. But it's fantastic that we've been getting a lot of good moments for her on her own without the Doctor as well. She's really like
Yeah,
grown as a person and as a character.
yeah. You find it weird how little unit was in this season though. They were in the first one and they're in the last one, and that's it. Like I expected them to be in it a lot more.
Might have been a case of they wanted after the first season wanted to see how they could do with less of them and try to have just the Doctor and Companion a bit more for this season, and then depending on how
Yeah,
this one went, go back to the other one for the next season. I don't know, just to kind of like test it to really like see how well it works. I would have liked if we had stories like this that take place off Earth and then we bring some of the unit crew with them. Like I still wish the
yeah,
Brigadier was a companion in terms of traveling at times too, but
yeah. I guess I just wanted to really try to like shift Doctor Who back into being in outer space, so they just kind of deprioritized unit a bit.
mm-hmm. They
And
want
then
to remind you
unfortunately,
that that is still part of the core of the show.
yeah. And then unfortunately, even though they were on Earth for the Sea Devils, unit just doesn't show up.
Yeah, I mean we talked about that one though, about how it was
Yeah.
like it was
It,
supposed to, but they couldn't.
yeah, the Brigadier was on vacation. Nicholas Courtney was on vacation.
No, the Brigadier himself was. It's funnier that
Yeah.
way.
Oh, and I like
But
the Doctor's line that he's qualified in practically everything when the investigator asked him what he's qualified in.
that was good, and that was also very accurate too.
Yeah. And the investigator, though, like, I kind of wish he had, like, really fallen for the Marshal's lies instead of just being taken hostage, and it could have been, like, trying to convince him that, like, the Marshal's actually evil. But it's just like, no, he just gets taken hostage. Just don't worry about him.
I think
He
it's
doesn't need to
even
be
funnier
here.
that you can tell like he never falls for it. He sees right through it, but then sees an emergency situation and then lets the marshal take control of it anyway.
Yeah.
Like you get the impression he knows exactly what's going on. He sees right through the marshal's BS, but oh, there's a dangerous looking alien here. I guess I have to let him at least assume command for this. Well, you gave him the opportunity to overthrow your men, and that great. I don't know
Yeah.
why you did that.
Just sheer incompetency, I guess.
I guess so.
I did like, though, how, like, the Doctor is, like, so excited to have a unique life form.
It is great. It's what we know the Doctor to be, and it's
Yeah.
definitely like a great trait to have, especially with it being such a driving force throughout the story.
Yeah. Like, once he decodes tablets and everything, he's just, like, so invested in this species now because they're unique in the
Mm-hmm.
universe. And then he even tells like the evil scientist and the marshal, like, you're about to kill a unique species in the universe. You need to stop doing that.
Yeah, we really see like what he stands for.
And I was looking it up, I just to see, like, if there was ever an explanation as to why the Time Lords did this, and apparently, like, the Salonians never reappear in anything, so there is no explanation.
Well, All right.
there is like
Fair
one
enough, I
time,
suppose.
I think like one time they reuse the suit for like the insect form in a different story, but then it's like it's not necessarily that it is a Solonian, you know?
Interesting.
I think that's about all I had for this story though.
Yeah, I think that's everything I have here. Overall, it was a fun story, but yeah, I wouldn't rank it like very high. I didn't dislike it. I had fun with it,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like very high up there.
I'd say I liked it more than Colony in Space.
Yes, yes, I did too.
And then I guess we can move on to the Time Monster. And as I said, this is in every Doctor Who magazine poll, it has been ranked at the lowest third Doctor story.
I
Not
wonder,
very well
like,
liked.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I mean,
Like, I liked this story.
yeah. My big thought was that like it reminds me so much of Power of the Doctor. Like there's so many like little
Yeah,
details that are very similar to Power of the Doctor. Like
that's true. There
the
is.
Master's pretending to be a professor. He's messing with volcanoes. It's like all that stuff was in Power of the Doctor. And then the that was also like the one time in Modern Who where he actually used mind control was when they were in Rasputin's place and he brainwashed the Queen.
Hmm.
And then he does a similar thing here, and it's like it's just so much similar to that story for no reason. So I wonder if Chris Chibnall really likes the story.
Maybe. I'm glad there's people who do like and respect this story because I thought this was a really ambitious story and a really fun one. There were a lot of really great moments and really cool ideas in this story.
Yeah,
Not exactly executed the best in a lot of ways, but that's okay.
yeah,
I definitely think there was a lot of unique and fun ideas in here that we hadn't seen yet, like the TARDIS landing, the two TARDISes landing within each other, the way time affects somebody, like Stu getting turned into an old man. Although
yeah,
I don't think they spent enough time on him just suddenly being young again later.
yeah,
um, Even just the very idea of the Tom Tit, as they called it.
yeah,
It was like the transmission of matter through interstitial time. That was it.
yeah,
Fascinating idea. Basically, like almost like the idea of like a TARDIS. I thought at first this was going to be the Master building a new TARDIS. That's what
yeah.
I thought this was going to be at first.
And then you find out no, his TARDIS is just in the room. Don't worry about it.
His TARDIS is in the room, and I'm
Yeah.
a little confused why he's not just using the power of his TARDIS for some of this.
The thing I found confusing is that also when they go back to Atlantis, the Master's TARDIS doesn't change form, even though
No.
it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Which
Which
is just, I guess the implication
Yeah,
is that it's a manual setting to change the chameleon
Yeah.
circuit, and he just has it off. But yeah, it's weird.
They probably just didn't want to change what it was each time it appeared since it kept appearing, and it probably would have
Yeah.
been too confusing.
And another behind the scenes, this one also had a Star Wars actor in it, and that is
Oh, really?
the Minotaur was played by the guy who is the body of Darth Vader, Dave Prose.
Oh, that's funny.
So he doesn't do the voice of Darth Vader, but he is like the person in the suit in
Mm-hmm.
the original trilogy. And then the
That's
Minotaur is
pretty fun,
funny because
actually.
like they build up the Minotaur for like the whole story, and then he's just in it for like 5 minutes, and then there you
One
go.
quick scene where the Doctor uses his jacket, like dealing with the Spanish bull, and that's it.
Yeah, I loved how the Doctor dealt with it though. Just he's doing
Very,
bullfighting.
very quickly and easily.
Yeah. And then Kronos was such a weird character. It's just like Kronos is a bird. I don't. Okay. I don't. And then at the end, Kronos is a woman in a giant woman's face.
I liked that Kronos had different forms. I kind of liked the
Yeah.
idea that there was no like truly defined form that Kronos would take, and I liked the idea that it was yes, there is like the Greek myth, but that's not necessarily what's in play here. The myth
Yeah.
was built around it, but that doesn't mean that's exactly what they're dealing with. I thought that was cool.
And I liked how Kronos is like, I don't care about gender. I can be in any gender species. And then also Kronos knew the Doctor quote of old, so like maybe we could have Kronos come back in like a Fugitive Doctor story.
That'd be
And there
cool,
you go.
actually.
Because
That
it's
would be
like
cool.
the Doctor doesn't recognize Kronos, but the Kronos recognizes the Doctor, which implies that like maybe it before the Doctor had memories of.
Yeah.
And that's where it's from.
But also the fact that Kronos being free was not actually a problem because
Yeah.
Kronos is not controlled by the Master. Kronos is just going to kind of go out into the universe, not cause
Yeah.
destruction because not being made to cause destruction. I thought that was actually a very fascinating ending, that Kronos really was like a god in the end, basically.
Yeah.
Would have been a great time to bring Kronos back with the most recent era dealing with all sorts of gods instead
Yeah.
of the gods of the pantheon of gods with all the chaos and everything. Instead, kind of like the story in the engine implying the real gods also exist to some degree. Would have been a great time to do something with them.
Yeah. And the Doctor does give Jo a sandwich in this one, so he makes up for stealing her sandwich in the Sea Devils.
That's true. That's true. He does. He does make up for that.
Yep. They had a great dynamic in this as well. I'm definitely much preferring their dynamic now than last season.
Oh yeah, no. The dynamics, honestly, the dynamics of every character were great.
Yeah. Oh, and I love the Master's line of like, "You have a very poor opinion of me, don't you, Doctor?" And the Doctor says, "You've noticed."
You've noticed.
That's great.
Their banter this whole season was really good.
Yeah.
I also want to give a shout out to the interactions between the Brigadier, Yates, and Benton, because even though there weren't a ton of them, they were actually like really good in this story as well.
Yeah. And I loved when the Master imitates the Brigadier's voice, and then Benton's like, "Well, I knew it wasn't the Brigadier because you called me my dear boy." It's like something like that. It's like,
Yeah,
no, he would never say
yeah.
that.
Yeah, my dear fellow. Like he still had certain verbal tics that he had, that even though he
Yeah.
put on the voice, he still didn't speak like him.
No, it's like, ah, dang it, I don't know army etiquette. I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's too simple. It's too simple for me.
Later masters would know, but yeah, this one, no.
Yeah.
But it is fascinating to see that that's something he can do. He can just auto voice dub.
Yeah.
That's a little concerning.
I think one of the main criticisms people have of this story, though, is that like Tom Tit is just like very obviously a joke, and like the naming, it's
Yeah.
obviously a joke, and then also
Yeah.
like I know people point out that the little device that the Doctor builds is very phallic shaped.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
I imagine that people notice that.
It's funny though that he has a nightmare about the Master and that he builds something phallic shaped to find the Master. It's shippers like that.
I'm sure they do. Honestly, the idea behind the time sensor is cool, but yes, it does look a little weird in its design. I mean, although the Doctor
Yeah.
has a lot of weird crafts in this story, like he builds that like weird thing out of like the bottle and like the cup
Yeah.
of tea and everything just to distract the Master, which kind of feels like a waste of time. Ultimately,
Yeah, like I don't know why they didn't just go to stop the Master. It's like, okay. Like the Doctor can get there even if like the time messes up around him and other people
Right.
can't get there. I will say though that like I felt like some of like the supporting cast in this were just kind of very not the greatest acting on their part. Like it felt very bland from some of the supporting cast in this story.
Like who?
Especially like I mean like the Queen when she falls for the Master,
Yeah.
it's just like it feels like it's just very like not the best like emotion in her acting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I felt that specifically from the Atlanteans.
Yeah.
From the people of Atlantis, that's who I felt it from. I didn't feel that way about Ruth and Stewart, the two scientists. I thought they actually
Yeah.
did a pretty good job. But it was the people in Atlantis that I felt that way about. They felt very
Yeah.
off with their acting. Like it what's the best way to put it? It's like it felt like in the episode they were acting as opposed to
Yeah.
actually playing the role of these characters. Like especially with the soldiers, like the guards, Hippias. Like
Yeah,
the queen, like the only one that really, the only two that really felt like they leaned into their roles and really like took on the characters was the king, Dalios, and Crassus.
yeah,
The yeah, they're kind of the only ones that really felt like they leaned into their roles all the way.
yeah. And I think it's just a shame of like how little they do with Atlantis in this story.
It needed
Like
to
that.
be a 50-50 of half of the serial is spent in modern time and half the serial is spent in Atlantis, and they didn't really do that.
Yeah. There is that little scene though when the Doctor and Joe are in prison, and then he tells his story about like a monk under a tree, and like that's a very nice scene there.
That was a great scene for them. That was like a great little story from the Doctor and how it was told to cheer Joe up, and it was largely just about appreciating the world around you.
Yeah, I love how it's like this is how the Doctor learned to see beauty in everything. So
Mm-hmm.
that's his little story.
And it's great, honestly. It was a
Yeah,
great little moment, and I loved like how like quiet it was and like the camera focuses as they did it. Like they made it like a really beautiful scene, honestly.
yeah. And then there was earlier when Yates is about to be blown up. The Brigadier actually calls him Mike because he's so
Yeah,
concerned about him.
because he cares. Yeah.
It's a good little moment with him where it's just like he calls him Mike because he doesn't do that very often.
Mm-hmm. He does not break rank very much.
Yeah, but then don't worry, everyone was fine anyways.
Thankfully, everyone was fine.
Plane crashed on them, but they're okay.
Well, no, I don't think it's at the plane crash. I think it's at to drop the bomb, but we just never
Well,
actually see the
yeah,
plane. A little weird with the way the master was basically opening up these little windows in time to make things happen, and it wasn't really explained or didn't really happen after that.
yeah,
Like it was just used from afar for a distraction, as opposed to actually being used as a device. Like that's very much like what we see happening in like whenever they talk about time going wrong in modern Doctor Who stories. You know,
yeah,
like the Wedding of River Song, for example, or even like other modern episodes. Like whenever there's like the idea of time is going wrong, they play around with ideas like that. So for it to only really be used in one episode here and not a bigger problem, like I don't know if they did it like the Master did it too many times and now it's just consistently going wrong. So now the Master's like, well, I can't summon Kronos here. I have to leave, and he just leaves with it all as a mess. And then the Doctor goes to follow because that's the only way to fix what's happening with time. I feel like that might have
yeah,
been a little bit better because it kind of
yeah,
just comes up as, oh well, here's something the Master can do because he's doing all this. Okay, is he gonna do more with it? No, it's just a show of power. Oh well, I mean, okay.
yeah. I feel like Tom Tit at the end of the day is just like a distraction, and he doesn't really have that much to do with anything. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's also just like they slow down time, and then it's just oh, we're just gonna leave like the two scientists here to figure it out, and then we're gonna go to Atlantis for a few episodes, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, it sadly made it feel a little too disconnected.
And then Benton turns into a baby.
Genuinely so funny, and then it's okay. He's fine in the end.
Yep. Then he's naked when everybody comes into the room.
Right after everyone comes into the room, of course.
There is a sad behind the scenes detail with that
Oh,
the baby didn't live for long, so
aw.
that baby is like has the shortest lived person who has ever been on Doctor Who because they have gets like cancer or something I think around its first birthday, so
Aw, that's
a
unfortunate.
very depressing story there.
That is sad.
And I gotta be honest, like the lady scientist, I forget what her name was. Ruth was it? Is that her
Ruth?
name?
Yeah.
She
Yeah, Ruth.
felt like such a weirdly written character because she feels like she's like the idea of like a feminist that people don't like, you know? Like she has like really weird lines at times where it's like, you know, aren't you a member of the superior sex, or why are you such a coward? And it's like, because he's a person. Like I don't know, he's a person. He
Like,
can be a coward.
so I appreciated the fact that she was clearly coming from the perspective of like, as a woman scientist, she has had to prove herself way more than a man would have to,
Yeah,
and she's like clawed her way to the role that she's in and demands the respect that she should have. And I
yeah,
do really like how she's clearly just tired of dealing with shit.
yeah,
I liked that about her character, though I do kind of agree that like the way she would bring it up at times, where even Stu was like, "Hey, I'm on your side," like,
yeah,
like, come on, I'm on your side. Like, it did feel a little like aggressive from her at times. Like towards the master, yeah, that's fair. Towards
yeah,
Stu, that didn't really feel that warranted outside of like funny banter between the two of them. But like, it never really played for funny banter that much. It just felt like she was being aggressive to him for no reason.
yeah. I feel like to me it feels like the writer has just like had like feminists that he's gotten annoyed by, and he's just writing that into a character. That's what it feels like to
which
me.
is which is a shame because I actually think she's a pretty good character, and you could tell that if they had more scenes, she and the Doctor would have bonded.
Yeah, like she's a fun character, but then at times it just like there are lines of dialogue where it just feels like it's so forced out of her.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I do feel like she's a loosely companion coded character though. Like they
Yeah,
wanted her to travel with the Doctor. She's the kind of scientist character that would have a one-off trip in the TARDIS with the Doctor, but they didn't do it.
yeah,
She should have gone with him to Atlantis.
would have been fun.
It is also kind of weird though that like both scientists who were studying time are completely fine in the end, no problem. Because it implies even without yes, they even say, oh, to do this without the master would be real difficult, but they understood enough of it that theoretically they could. And I feel like that's
Yeah,
weird to have for this time period, unless they get absorbed into unit and it's done in secret kind of thing.
yeah. I know
Maybe, maybe they built the time window.
there is a Sixth Doctor novel that's a sequel to this story, and I think those characters come back in it.
Oh,
Called
interesting. Okay.
The Quantum Archangel is what the episode or the novel's called.
Interesting. Okay.
I believe Kronos comes back in that as well. It's like it's like the supporting cast of this and Kronos and the Sixth Doctor shows up.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay.
And also in that novel, they established that the demons mentioned that they destroyed Atlantis, and the way they indirectly did that is that they gave them the Crystal of Kronos. So that's because they didn't know how to control Kronos and everything. That's what destroyed it. So it's like
I see.
indirectly, the crystal was their test from the demons, and that makes it all tie together. Although it doesn't tie together with the Underwater Menace. So that's just Underwater Menace is just a different Atlantis. Don't worry about it.
One
And
thing I
the
do love. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, the Atlantean Queen is just like such a weird character where she sees the master and she immediately falls in love with him, and then he
It's more
convinces
like she
her.
falls in love with his clear desire for power, which is even stranger.
Yeah, and then he convinces her to overthrow the king, but then she wants to overthrow the king without killing him, and then he dies, and then now she's swapping sides again. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah, she's a little messy. She's a little
she's a plot
messy.
she's a plot point, not a character.
Yeah, she really is. What I was gonna say was I really like how the master yet again had another alias, but it's just the master in another language again. I really love
Yeah,
how they keep doing that. It's so funny.
they just need the doctor to write down like master in every language so that he can figure it out, so that the unit can just look at those names and just if they notice anyone with one of those names.
Yep, that would be helpful, wouldn't it?
I love the exchange that he had with the brigadier there, where he's like, "Don't you know Greek?" And then Joe's like, thinks for a second, and then Joe figures it out that like, oh, that's Greek for master.
Good for her, figuring that out.
And then there was another exchange with the brigadier where it's like, the only thing that can make somebody age like this is time. And the doctor's like, "Wow, you actually figured something out for once, brigadier." And brigadier's like, "Wait, I did? I did. What did I say right?"
It was pretty funny.
I loved at the beginning too when they're like trying to explain what they're doing to the reader, and just like I have no idea what you're saying to me. He's clearly not a scientist. But then Benton knew what they were saying instead. And that's great.
It is pretty good.
I did like at the end though when the Doctor asks for the Master's life and freedom. I like that. You know, he's like very annoyed by the Master, but he's not going to condemn him to torment.
Eternal torture, yeah.
But then the Master just shoves him into the TARDIS and runs away and gets off. Oh, and there's the time ram thing. When they were talking about the time ram, I was like, I recognize that from something. What do I recognize it from? And it's it was Once in Future Coda with the Fugitive Doctor and the War Doctor. They bring back the time ram idea.
Oh, that's fun.
And then the Fugitive Doctor is going to time ram the War Doctor's TARDIS, and then the War Doctor prevents it and teleports a ram onto the Fugitive Doctor's TARDIS, like the animal, the ram. And he's like, "There's your time ram."
There's your time ram. That is quite funny, actually.
Yep. And then the Fugitive Doctor just has to deal with a ram for like the rest of that story, which is funny.
Just want to get rid of it.
Yep. She has to
That's
find
pretty
a
good. I
good
like
place. She has to find a good place to leave it in that story. Yeah. Took me a while to remember where I knew time ram from, but yeah, that's
Yeah, it
where
was
it's
one
from.
of it was one of those phrases where it's so specific. It's definitely Doctor Who, but like, where did I hear
Yeah. I had to look up TARDIS wiki to figure out where it was from, and then oh yeah, I remember the joke now.
Overall, though, I enjoyed the Time Monster. It is a little messy, but I think it was really ambitious, and I think it had a
Yeah.
lot of great ideas, and I really enjoyed my time with it. So I think it's a little unfortunate that it's ranked so low for the Third Doctor
Yeah.
stories. I wouldn't put it the lowest, although I probably wouldn't put it very high because I've just been enjoying a lot of the Third Doctor stories. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I liked it quite a bit too. It's definitely not one of my favorites, but
Right.
it's good. I would say.
Yeah.
Also, just a note that this is actually the first time they've gone to the past since the Abominable Snowman, which is several seasons ago.
Oh, that's true.
We haven't had one set in the past for a while,
Wow, it's about time.
and there was a very noteworthy scene that was dropped in episode 5, where the Doctor would have explained to Jo how she can understand the Atlantean language, where he would have activated a device in the TARDIS which permitted her to understand the language, and yeah, instead they just never explained that until Modern Who. So there would have been an
Wild that
explanation there.
they almost had it, and it really realistically wasn't very far off from what it actually is.
Yeah, I think ultimately the issue was that I know one of the episodes was like running overtime, so they had to cut some scenes and stuff out of it.
Yeah.
And like there was the one when the Master makes Kronos absorb the Doctor, that was supposed to be the cliffhanger, and then they realized that like that episode was short and the next episode was long, so they just continued the episode until when Jo was lost. So they just shifted it around a bit.
I see.
Oh, and this is also like one of the first times the Doctor talks about the TARDIS being alive as well.
Yeah,
Well,
I really liked that, actually.
it's like sort of alive. He doesn't exactly say, but it's you know. They haven't really talked about that very much. And then the telepathic circuits as well. I don't think they've mentioned that before. I'm not sure. Maybe.
It's definitely like the start of them really starting to get a handle on doing things with the TARDIS that we know them to do nowadays, though.
Yeah. And they did also change the TARDIS interior for the story, but apparently everybody hated it, so they go back to the old one. But yeah, they changed like the circles. They're like bowls instead now for this one story. Apparently it
Weird, yeah.
it got so much criticism, and also between the two seasons there was like damage to it, so they just got rid of it.
They kind of had to then, I guess. Yeah. All right.
And
Shortest
Barry
lived
Letts
TARDIS design.
Barry Letts, the producer, also didn't like it, so yeah, they go back to the old TARDIS design and don't worry about it.
Fair enough.
the Doctor was just trying something and he just doesn't like it, so he got rid of it.
Well, at least we know he could change the TARDIS quickly and easily, apparently.
Yeah, I think that's all I had here for the story.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. But that concludes season 9. It felt climactic like the
Yep,
season finale, so that's good.
I've definitely been enjoying having the Master around for these
Oh yeah.
seasons. He's been a great addition.
Yeah, he's been a lot of fun. And in general, like the Master, Joe, the third Doctor, like together, like the three of them have been like stellar, honestly. They've been a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
and I'm just now realizing that like in in Classic Who season 8 and then season 9, you had a companion where the Doctor was mean to her and then started getting nicer to her in the next season, and we did that in Modern Who too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
we have.
the 12th Doctor was pretty mean to Clara in that first in season 8, and then in season 9
Well,
he was a lot
12th
nicer.
Doctor was pretty mean to everyone in his first
Yeah,
season. And then he got better in his next season. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
and then that companion leaves, or I guess Clara leaves in season 9, and then it'll be season 10 for Joe.
Hmm. Yeah, we got one more season with Joe.
Yeah,
3 seasons is a good amount for a companion after the last few.
yeah. I guess she's around for about as long as Jamie was.
Yeah.
And I know that like this is basically when they first start doing like the Doctor has like one female companion, and that's
Right.
kind of what they always do. Like there's
For the
a
most
few
part, yeah.
times, there's a couple times in Classic Who where we have a whole team on the TARDIS, but one Doctor and one female companion is kind of the standard for a lot of it.
Yeah, I don't think we see a change in that until the fourth Doctor, and we see some
Yeah,
varieties with the companions for the fourth Doctor, and then I think also again for the fifth Doctor.
yeah, because I think like the fourth Doctor has obviously Sarah Jane and then Romana
Sarah
as
Jane
well.
and there's also
Yeah,
Harry Sullivan.
and then towards the end of the fourth Doctor's tenure, you have Nissa and Tegan and Adric, and then they're all there for the fifth Doctor.
Yep. There's also K9 somewhere in there who is a companion.
Yeah,
We'll get to all that. We'll get to all that.
yep,
Overall, I think seasons 8 and 9 have been really good, but we still got one more season with Joe, which I'm happy about because I've been really liking her. She
yeah,
has so much of what we see in modern companions, and I think while like we've said this for other companions before, Joe, that like oh you see like elements of like what they pulled for inspiration for like what defining traits of companions are. Joe really is like the first to feel like you could have Joe's role in a modern Doctor Who story, and it's like 1-to-1 kind of thing.
yeah, pretty much. I would say between her and Jamie, like they're very much like the standard of what you do with a companion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've liked these 2 seasons, last 2 seasons, because like we didn't
Oh
do
yeah, these
an
have been great.
overall of season 8, so we can just merge them together.
Yeah,
But yeah, season 8, I loved how it was just like the Master was there the whole time, and that was your idea. And then season 9, they're starting to push him back into space a bit more.
yeah, you start to branch out from that. You get this very like good set idea of what they're dealing with constantly with the Master, but then you start to bring back what you know about Doctor Who into it all. Kind of people
Yeah,
that just got introduced to it all kind of now get a look into what the show's really about more than that. We get to see more development with Joe and the Doctor and their relationship as they start going on these kinds of adventures. And I think it comes together to tell some really good stories, I think. And I think as much as we do love the Master and how prevalent he is in season 8, I do think it is because he was there for the whole season that the episodes that don't have him in season 9 also stand out fairly strong
yeah,
because they do as well as the stories with him, despite him not being there.
yeah. And then we also brought back the Daleks this season.
Yep,
I think it was a very good way to bring them back. Like
it
I like
was.
that story.
Yeah,
I know. I believe we see them again next season as well. There's
okay.
Planet of the
Not too
Daleks. Yeah,
long then.
Planet of the Daleks is the fourth story of next season. So,
Hmm. Well, not too long then.
and just like Curse of Peladon was a very standout story as well. Obviously, we both liked it. There's so much about Curse of Peladon to love.
That really was like my highlight this season, I think.
Yeah,
Like I loved that story. That might be like an all timer of classic Who for me. Like the more I think about it.
yeah. And I'm definitely enjoying having Joe, so I'm gonna miss her. We have to get rid of her, but then I guess we get Sarah
Yeah,
Jane after. And obviously, everybody
that's
knows
true.
Sarah Jane.
Sarah Jane's also very, very big. So we get two fantastic companions back to back. But we
Yeah,
still have a full season of Joe, and I'm excited to see what they do with her in this season. I know we've pointed out some potential connections between her and Yates, though again I don't remember if Yates is who she ends up with when she leaves. So
yeah.
if not, we'll see how that ends up going. Hopefully it won't be a case of she falls in love with someone in one episode and then that's it. Hopefully it's actually something that gets built up throughout the season, or at least
Yeah,
a few
at least the last
stories.
story.
Yeah.
The last story is the Green Death, and I know that's like set on Earth, so
Okay.
I guess we're not really on Earth for the rest of it.
Interesting.
Because we have the Three Doctors as the first one, and then I think like the next three stories are not on Earth because he has a working TARDIS now. Then
Ah.
we go
Okay.
back to Earth at the end. So yeah,
How much unit do we have in this next season though?
I think they're just the first story and the last story.
Yeah, just
If
the
I'm not
Earth
mistaken.
stories. I figured. Okay.
Yeah, and that's part of why John Pertwee decided to leave was because like all of his friends were leaving. You know, he he
Ah, yeah, that's fair.
he wasn't working with Nicholas Courtney anymore. Katie Manning was gone. Uh, Roger Delgado unfortunately passed away, so
Mm-hmm.
like all of his friends weren't there anymore. So he didn't really want to stick around.
Yeah,
So that's why
I
he
see.
left in season 11. I think essentially the story was like because he wasn't enjoying it, he went up to them and said like, "I'll stay if you pay me more," and they said, "Bye." Like,
Wow.
sorry,
Okay.
because like they didn't have the money to pay him more. So it's just
No.
yeah, we can't do that. Sorry. I think even the producers start. I think the producer might have already announced that like they were leaving at the end of season 11. So it was like literally everybody I get along with here is gone. So I don't
Yeah.
really want to be here.
Clearly, it's just time.
Yeah.
Well, we get two more seasons of him at least then.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we only have one more master story
Oh.
because he gets one story in season 10, and then that's all we get with him.
Yeah.
But I guess we
Hopefully,
can
it's a good one.
once we get there, we can talk about overall thoughts of him. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that sounds like a good plan. What do we have specifically for next time though?
Next time, we will be watching The Three Doctors, which is a four-parter, and also Carnival of Monsters, which is another four-parter. So obviously, The Three Doctors is, we're bringing back some old doctors.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Then Carnival of Monsters, I don't know much about that one. But, yeah. And then The Three Doctors is Omega as well. It's like Omega is a threat, so the Time Lords go to the Doctor and say, "We need you to help us with Omega," and they go to three doctors.
This should be fun, especially nowadays. Like now with with things that we've dealt with in Modern Hood, this should be interesting.
Yeah, and ultimately they did that because it's the 10th anniversary special as well. It's just
Right.
worth
Right.
noting.
We're coming up on 10 years.
And technically the first Doctor's not really there much because his health isn't good, but
Yeah.
he shows up. He shows up on like a TV screen and talks to them through a TV screen. I think is what he does in the story, basically.
They had to get some sort of recordings with him, but yeah, yeah.
I think it's like on the TARDIS scanner. Essentially, is where he is, and then yeah,
Right. That makes sense.
because he wanted
We'll
to do
see.
more. He wanted to do more, I believe, but then it's just yeah, he just can't.
It's too hard with
Unfortunately,
himself, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, for next time, we're watching the Third Doctor and Carnival of Monsters. If you would like to join us on this journey, you can join our Patreon, where for just $1 a month you can get access to early access to these episodes and get into our Discord, where we'll encourage discussions between episodes. And for a higher tier, you can watch live as we record, where it will be a live text chat, and you can chat with us and tell us that the Time Monster actually is a really bad story, and you can tell us why.
I'd be very curious to know.
Yep. And as a reminder, just make sure to watch The Three Doctors and Carnival of Monsters for our next episode. You can find those on BBC iPlayer or 2BTV. If you support us on Patreon for just $1 a month, you can get access to our Discord as well as early access to episodes. I've been Joy. You can find me on social media at JoyContent.
And I've been Triss. You can find me on most socials at ToonTriss.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.